Okay, welcome to my Game of Thrones Season 1 and 2 character favorites. I've been looking forward to doing this for a while, and I figured this was a good time now at the end of Season 2 and have like 10 months off to just not have Game of Thrones, so I figured I'd fill it up with some of this. So, top 10 favorite characters from Season 1 and 2. There may be spoilers if you haven't seen the full 2 seasons, so you probably should stop watching this. I haven't read the books, though, so you don't have to worry about me spoiling, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, whatever, how many books there are. And I think we're ready to get into it now. Starting with number 10 on my favorite characters from Game of Thrones Season 1 and 2 is Stannis Baratheon. Stannis really impressed me, actually, to be honest with you. He wasn't even on my list prior to the finale, Blackwater, episode 9 of Season 2, where he totally went on a run. I mean, I always respected the man, and I knew he was stubborn and intense, but until he did Blackwater, and basically, especially when he was on the ships and after the wildfire blew up half his army, or half his fleet, and one of his commanders was like, we're going to lose hundreds of men doing this. And he's like, no, thousands. And so he just pushed on, and just his resiliency and his tenacity in going for the King's Landing and the Red Keep, impressive. And he did it, and he was he was spearheading the attack. Very impressive man, and definitely earned a spot in my top 10. So if you have any, that's what's up this here and say. If you have any comments, please comment below, because I'm really interested to see what your top 10 are. I guarantee you that everyone's top 10 is different, so don't hate on me if it's different than mine. So that's number 10, that's Stannis Baratheon. He claims to be the rightful heir. I also liked in the last episode, the most recent one, episode 10 of Season 2, where he and Melisandre were kind of dumbfounded that they lost. It was really interesting. Okay, moving on. Number 9, and I'd have to think that number 9 here is going to be higher on some of your lists. Ned Stark. Number 9. I know that seems kind of far away from number 1, but I think Ned Stark was a really interesting character and a really strong character. And of course, in a lot of ways, he was a protagonist of Season 1. But he was so painful to watch because of the decisions he made. He didn't know how to play the game. And I respect the decisions he made, but it was frustrating for him to watch him because he was so bad at it. The poor man, all he wanted to do was go up north and, return to, before episode 1 even started and just live up there in the cold. The Grey Waste. But, he was really frustrating to watch. I really enjoyed him, and I was cheering for him, but I couldn't put him any higher on this list. This list gets pretty competitive in my mind. And there's some people I had to cut, and I've gone over this list a couple times now. And I think Ned is a good spot at number 9, in my opinion. Okay, number 8. Tyrion Lannister. Another person who probably on a lot of people's lists would be a lot higher, but I can't put him any higher than this. I like him. He's got the best lines. He's got the best script of all the characters, in my opinion. But I guess I'm basically basing this off of how excited I am when the characters show up on the screen. And I'm honestly not that excited when I see Tyrion. I enjoy what he has to say, and I enjoy how he plays the game and how he thinks. But as far as loving him, I don't really love him. I would miss him if he died for sure, but I don't know. Even though he does get a lot of screen time, I just don't like him that much. I actually like his partner there, who was captain of the City Watch, I think it was, Bran? One of the two. I liked him better than Tyrion, actually. So that's Tyrion pretty much. I respect how he has, in the face of his sister and the face of his father, and against his whole family, he stood up and he's kind of going solo, contrary to the rest of the Lannisters, in that he's not really supported by them or loved by them, which is sad, but we'll see what happens in Season 3. I'm really looking forward to him. Number 7, Robb Stark. Robb Stark definitely put a move on at the end of the last season, Season 1, where they were all hailing him King of the North. And that was probably my favorite scene with him. Other than that, I just think he's a lot like Ned Stark, only doesn't have any of the issues that Ned Stark possesses. You know, he's able to make tough choices, you know, but he's still, not that he's had to make very many tough choices, but compared to some of the other characters, that is. But he's just a more improved version of Ned Stark for playing this game, because he's not solely committed to doing the right thing, which is very helpful. Anything else? I do like the storyline that he has going on with his little nurse lady there. I don't know her name. I've forgotten it. She kind of looks native Indian. And, or Aboriginal, I should say. Interesting. Anything else to say about Robb Stark? I don't really think so. Moving on. Number 6. Daenerys Targaryen. At the end of Season 1, Daenerys Targaryen was really high on my list. She was probably, another person, and then she was probably my second favorite from Season 1. And I won't name the other person because he is still coming on this list. And, yeah, Daenerys Targaryen, she's had the most opposition of any of the characters in the story so far. You know, just think about the transition she's made from Episode 1 to Episode 20. She's absolutely done a complete, I wouldn't even say character arc. It's been like a character roller coaster, loop-de-loop track. It's been impressive, you know, from being burned to, you know, being almost hated and tortured by her brother mentally, you know, to married off to Drogo, to abandoned in the wilderness, to, you know, isolated in Karth. She's overcome all these things, and then the Houses of the Undying at the very end, which was a very good end to the season for her. Very, very exciting. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with her dragons. I was hoping they'd be a little further grown up than they were at the end of the season, but they weren't, so that's just the way it's going to be. Moving on, we got number 5, Margaery, or Margaret. I can't remember which one it is. I think Margaery might be her nickname, Tyrell. Despite her limited screen time, she is my top 5. She's in top 5. She broke it. I flipped her earlier. Earlier I had her at 7, and I moved her up because I was thinking about how much I really enjoyed her. This is a girl here, and she hasn't had any challenges yet, but is she going to ever have challenges now that she's married to Joffrey? Or she's going to marry Joffrey. But this girl here, she understands how to play the game, you know? You've got all these snakes in King's Landing, like, you know, Littlefinger and the eunuch, and all of them pretty much, and Cersei, the queen, who's the chief snake. But Margaery, I'm really looking forward to seeing how she and Joffrey interact next season, and plus how she and Cersei interact, because Margaery really knows how to play this game. She's just so conniving, and she's good looking too, and I love her outfits. Her outfits are great. The sweetness in which she talks it's just so appealing, and it's so I just love it. Man, this is getting competitive. Okay, that's probably a surpriser too. So a lot of my top 5 are actually surprise ones that I don't think most people would like, but I like them a lot. Moving on to number 4, Sir Jorah Mormont, I think his last name is. Sir Jorah Mormont. Okay. I actually have him ahead of Daenerys Targaryen, which may be surprising, but I really like Sir Jorah. When I see him come on the screen, I'm just like, yes. I think it's his voice, it's the way he looks, it's the way he talks, it's the respect he has. I just love his character, you know, blood of my blood. He's just, he's so cool. And to see him just want the best for Khaleesi is just the best thing ever for me, and I really like him. I really like everything about him, pretty much. I really like his storyline with that girl he met in Karth. I forget what, she was wearing some kind of like a red veil or mask kind of thing, like a beaded mask. And I don't know what the point of that storyline is. I don't even think it's going to continue, but it was just interesting, intriguing story for him. And so hopefully we get to see more of him next season. It's really interesting to see what happens with him and Daenerys in the next season, because they're supposed to get a ship and maybe head back to Westeros, although I'm sure, prediction, although I don't know what's going to happen, they'll probably not make it back to Westeros in the next season. Would be my guess. Okay, number 3, top 3, Arya Stark. Arya Stark probably is in the top 5 or 7 or 10 of a lot of the lists, if you had a list. She's probably one of the favorite Starks, actually. And, I really liked her in both seasons. In the first season, she was kind of this girl who was trying to find her place in the world and, didn't want to be a lady, and didn't want to do the curtsies and all that stuff. She wanted to run around and play in mud and whatever and sword fight with needle. Season 2, she just showed her wittiness with, Tywin Lannister and just her courage, her boldness there. It was really impressive to see that. And, really like her. I think she's really adorable. She's just got that 13-year-old cute girl, you just want to go give her a big hug because she's so cool and so cute. Other than that, I think that sums up Arya. Yeah, I just really liked how and I like her I like her interaction with the dancing master / Valor Mortagucus, or whatever that guy's last name was, who was the faceless man in the very last episode, episode 20. Really like that stuff. Very great. And I like how she's hanging out with that Baratheon bastard boy and that fat kid. I think it's a cool combination. And I think that's it for Arya. Number 2, we go to Khal Drogo. I loved Khal Drogo. I really loved Khal Drogo, but I'm so sad he died. I still wish he was alive. And then we saw him in episode 20 there with Daenerys' whole dream where she was going through the House of the Undying, vision dream world, basically. And she saw Drogo again. I was like, wow. It was so sad. And then to see the baby boy there, too, was really sad. So Drogo is, when I see him on the screen, you think about the times when, in Season 1, where at least I was so excited for him to, he's going to go and he's going to get his wooden horses, and he's going to go across the wooden sea, the Black Sea, whatever they called it, the Narrow Sea, I forgot they called it. So epic. And just the whole thing, when he spoke with such masculinity and such just beastness, and think of all his fights he had with that guy who wanted to rape that woman, and he said no, and then he fought him and ripped his tongue out, and think about when he poured the golden crown on the pot of gold on that Targaryen guy, I forget his first name now, but yeah, a crown for a king, and think about that time where Khaleesi was eating the heart, and he was so happy for her, and when Khaleesi was threatened to be poisoned, and he comes in the room and just goes nuts and says he's going to, he's going to give his boy the Iron Throne, a throne to sit on. Just such an awesome character, and I really love Drogo. Okay, last person on my list, and the first place. This one will definitely be a surprise, but she has taken it away, and it is Ygritte. For number 1 on my list, favorites player, Ygritte is actually how it's spelled. It's probably pronounced like Ygritte. So Ygritte, she is awesome. Just the whole way in which she's totally translated the way in which Jon Snow thinks, and the way in which he views the world, and the way he views the wildlings and the Wall and the Blacks and the Night Watch is just so cool. And plus, she is, in my opinion, the best-looking character in the whole series. I mean, it was Daenerys Targaryen, now it's Ygritte. I don't have any question in my mind about that. She's way better looking, and her sexual advances in twisting the mind of Jon Snow are so great and so amazing, and yet her ability to just be one step ahead of him. I mean, I know he's not the bravest guy in the world, but it's just really good. Okay, I think that's all I have. I don't think I have much more time to say anything else. I got very excited. I got very, very excited. And I think that's it, guys. If I get cut off, have a good one, and rate and comment below with your thoughts. Have a good one. Bye.